This week and beyond the headlines.
It is true that the funding that is placed in this current budget is not quite as much as it was last year.
Because of the budgetary constraints that we find ourselves in, Madam Speaker, expectations are somehow going to be the major issue that we have to deal with. How are we going to get our people to appreciate, and if I may say, how are we going to be able to lower the expectations of our people at this point in time, given the financial constraints that we are under?
During the 2012 budget debate, the BVI's financial status was heavily discussed, and one message ran through the House that the members would have to do more with less. While giving the closing statement during the debate on Friday, March 23rd, Premier and Minister for Finance, Honorable Orlando Smith, reiterated this point as he noted that this year the various ministries would have less to work with than anticipated.
It is true that the funding that is placed in this current budget is not quite as much as it was last year. But it's also true, Madam Speaker, that we are having reduced funds for most of the ministries and in this budget year because of restraints. And we believe that, as some of my members have said, you can do more with less, Madam Speaker. When it comes to tourism, for example, Madam Speaker, it is true that we are giving them a smaller subsidy than they did have last year. It is also true that tourism is one of the important subjects, and we need to promote this territory as much as we can. But it's also true that we think that the tourist board can also do better, become more efficient. And we're also looking at ways where they can also become revenue earners and therefore have to increase their budget, Madam Speaker.
During the debate stage, however, several representatives, some going through the budget debate for the first time as new ministers and district representatives, spoke about their districts, highlighting the areas they wanted to see improvements in, while taking into consideration the fact that this budget would be a restricting one in many regards. Speaking about the way forward, Deputy Premier and Minister for Natural Resources and Labour, Honourable Kedrick Pickering, said that government is faced with the challenge of lowering the expectations of the people at this time due to the financial condition of the territory.
I just want to turn my attention for a short while to some of the events that are critical to the community that I represent in this honorable house. Because of the budgetary constraints that we find ourselves in, Madam Speaker, expectations are somehow going to be the major issue that we have to deal with. How are we going to get our people to appreciate, and if I may say, how are we going to be able to lower the expectations of our people at this point in time, given the financial constraints that we are under? So all the projects that we would like to do are going to need financial resources, and the financial resources, according to our budget, are very limited.
Despite the announcement, however, Honourable Pickering said that work must go on in the districts, and he spoke about the Greenland field, saying that its current condition has a negative effect on youths affected by its incompletion.
My honourable colleague from the 8th District and myself would like desperately to get the Greenland field completed. It has had probably more a deleterious effect on the young people of our community than any other one event. That recreational facility has been out of operation now for about 4 years, completely out of operation. And I said before how important in that facility is in all the sports that are played there. And so we are going to work desperately hard with my colleague, the Minister of Education, to see how best, with the limited resources that we have, to try and get that field functional, because the community and the young people of our community are suffering daily in not being able to have access to those facilities. I don't want to even start to outline the amount of social problems that are directly related to not having recreational facilities. And so we're going to work desperately hard to get that. We're going to work diligently.
Also speaking about his desire to have the Greenland field completed as soon as possible was 8th District Representative Honorable Marlon Penn. While acknowledging the economic restraints that government now faces, the district representative outlined how the development of the field can actually improve on the territory's economy.
Madam Speaker, we have limited flat land space and limited financial resources, and we have to develop a field or a facility that could accommodate multiple sports. And cricket is one of those sports, Madam Speaker. There's immense, tremendous economic opportunities through cricket, Madam Speaker. There's, the whole social atmosphere that happens when cricket's going on, Madam Speaker. Right now we have the West Indies Test match with Australia, I think it is, going on in the Caribbean, Madam Speaker, and you see the energy that cricket brings to a community and to a territory. And I'm sure the economic benefits to St. Vincent and St. Lucia and all over the place are tremendous. Madam Speaker, I know by no means the Greenland field could be developed as such a large facility, but at least we could benefit from some of the regional competitions like the Buster Cup that we had some years ago in Rotown when the field was filled to capacity, and the economic benefits that we garnered from that event.
Speaking to the issue of harbour development, Honorable Penn talked about the development of the Fishermen's Wharf, which has been touted as a much-needed facility for the fishermen in the district. Honorable Penn again alluded to the financial constraints facing each representative, but he assured he would fight to secure funds for the project to be developed during his tenureship.
As far as the harbour development, I know there's a lot of concern or a lot of anxiety regarding the Fishermen's Wharf in that particular area where persons want to see the wharf developed. I myself is very concerned. I am on board with the development of that project. That project was signed, I think, the weekend before election for I think it's over about for some $1 million, Madam Speaker. We have to reassess the project. I mean, we're not saying that we don't want to develop the project, and I definitely is one who wants to see the project go forward, but I have not seen the specifics of the project as yet, Madam Speaker. So, and we don't have the resources in year one, Madam Speaker, to have that project developed. But I assure the people of the 7th and 8th District that I will fight to ensure that funding is allocated during my tenure to ensure that our project is developed and the fishermen within our district have a proper facility to be able to carry on their craft.
Also speaking to the harbour development, Dr. Pickering said the project is important as it will affect the economic livelihood of the people of the 7th and 8th districts. However, the minister said that finances would limit just how much can be done regarding the project.
We're going to work diligently to see how far we can advance the Eastern Fred Hawkesbury Harbour project, because the economic life of the community is integrally and intimately tied into getting that process completed. The whole economics of it are so wide in terms of its positive implications to the community. But again, because of the financial constraints, we're going to be limited on how much we can do moving forward.
As the minister responsible for the territory's beaches, Honorable Pickering also announced that he has plans to develop the Brandywine Bay Beach, not only for the benefit of tourists, but for residents as well. He said the development would allow visitors to come and enjoy what residents have, and it wouldn't be the other way around.
One of the big things I want to concentrate on that side, Madam Speaker, and more so since comes on directly under my remit as minister, is the Brandywine Bay Beach. It is this government's intention, Madam Speaker, to develop Brandywine Bay Beach into a major entertainment area, not for visitors only, because I listened to some of the recommendations and it is always for our visitors. But Brandywine Bay belongs to the people first. And whatever we are going to do with Brandywine Bay, we are going to ensure that it is the people, our people, who are going to be the direct beneficiaries of it. And then we are going to enhance it so that our visitors can enjoy what we have at our disposal, not the other way around. I want to make that abundantly clear, Madam Speaker, because too often I listen to comments about we need to do this for the tourists and we need to improve Brandywine Bay for us as a people.
Stating her awareness of the financial constraints of this government was 6th District Representative Honorable Alvaro Maduro Keynes, who said that she understands the constraints will not allow her to complete all her projected tasks for the district in one budgetary year. However, Honorable Keynes listed some of the areas she would have liked to see receive more money despite the need to tighten the budget.
I know that all 9 districts have their needs, including the 6th district, which I was elected to represent. Madam Speaker, the conservative funds that are allocated to the 6th district handbag will enable me to complete a few of the projects I have earmarked for this district. Let me make it abundantly clear, Madam Speaker, that I do not expect to complete the long list of works in the district within the first budget year. I do understand the financial constraint that this country is under, and I know that the people of the 6th district will appreciate whatever is completed in the district for this year. Madam Speaker, I campaign very heavily on youth empowerment and social ills in this country, and I am pleased to see that funds allocated to these areas. I however would have liked to see a bit more allocated to social development, which is the department with the enormous task of addressing the social ills of this country. Nevertheless, doing nothing is not an option. So I trust that the funds that were allocated will be used prudently given the current financial constraint.
Meanwhile, Minister for Communication and Works and District 4 Representative Honorable Mark Vanterpool spoke on the issue of water and sewage. Minister Vanterpool looked at money that is lost in the Department of Water and Sewage annually as a result of unread meters, and he also spoke about the troubling issue of sewage running on the streets.
And we talk every day about sewage and all the issues, and every 4 years we come back here and sewage still run out up and down the place in Long Look and Greenland, and the people inhaling it, and they get so accustomed to inhaling it now that it smells like the fresh air because they've been inhaling it for so long. And that's just wrong. It has become a complacency. It's amazing how things happen. The first time sewage started running down there by the immigration department, it was a big ado. All of a sudden happening every day, and we all settle and say, well, just another sewage spill. And it's because, Minister, I am not going to accept that. I called, and the sewage that is running in Road Town down there, I said to the ministry, I said to the Water and Sewage Department, I went to the cabinet last Wednesday, and they approved some movement. I said, we got to solve it. We don't have time to go to bid for anything like that. It's a health issue. People are inhaling it every day. When I drove this morning in my Jeep, I had to turn up the glass quick. When I turned up the glass, the scent came and I turned it down quick. That is not acceptable, Madam Speaker, in a country like ours. So we are moving in that direction. An agreement, an approval was made last Wednesday. In fact, this Wednesday, to order the right pumps or whatever has to solve it. We got to keep trying something to make it happen. And we'll continue to do that, Madam Speaker.
While several members of the House spoke about finding ways to do more with less, one district representative argued that a particular area in his district had not been catered to at all. As he said, there was no money allocated toward the Seacoast Bay Harbour Development Project.
I have seen that they have allocated small sums to different subheads, which indicates that the subhead is alive. Territorial highways, $100. That can be supplemented later on if the need arises and finances pertain, $100. But Madam Speaker, there were subheads in this budget. I take the Seacoast Bay Harbour Development Project. Madam Speaker, I urge, there's nothing there. Not a dime. So I would like to know exactly from the premiere when he get up to speak. Tell my people what the story is there.
The 3rd District Representative also stated that there was no money allocated this year to the Nibs Estate project either, and he said that the development of the roads there will particularly benefit prospective first-time home owners, and as such, he encouraged that the development be continued.
There's another vote here, Madam Speaker, that I have to refer to, that the Minister will have to answer to as well. Where is it? Yes, Madam Speaker. Subhead 85288, Nibs Estate Subdivision. Again, nothing there, not a dime. It says, the note says phase 2 of project to construct roadways at Nibs Estate. 2011 revote $293,960 transferred to the consolidated fund. I'd like the Minister, when he gets up, to let us know what his plans are for that subdivision. Now, Madam Speaker, that project was started. Chris, you're the one who did that, the Nibs Estate, that cut that road back in when you were the Minister of Natural Resources and Labor. I started somewhere around 2003, 2004, not later than 2004. And it sat there from then until sometime last year, early last year I think it was. For about 5 years it sat there. Nothing happened, 5 or 6 years. Now that the lands have been distributed to first-time homeowners, prospective homeowners, and with the promise of duty-free, building materials for first-time homes. These people are keen to move forward with that development. So it is not in anybody's interest to leave that hillside gouge as it is, and at the same time deprive the many people who are expected to benefit.
Also questioning financial decisions made in this year's budget was the 1st District Representative, Honorable Andrew Foy, who noted that the Virgin Gorda Festival was about to receive $100,000 as opposed to the annual $60,000 to help with expenses for the event. Minister Foy said that the same raise was not considered for the East End, Long Look or Carrot Bay festivals, and he asked that this be taken into account.
I'm one of those who always advocate, and I think the former ministers of education, all of them advocated that the festival money being allocated, that people argue not, but it wasn't enough. Now I'm so glad that the Virgin Gorda committee lobbied hard to get their money up to $100,000. That's the power of the people. They were used to get 60,000, and now they get 100. And I would have my ears glued to the radio, Madam Speaker, waiting to hear Eastern Long Look and get from 60 to 100. I didn't hear that. And I keep my ears glued to the radio, Madam Speaker, to hear if Carrot Bay can get from 60 to 100. I didn't hear that. So, Madam Speaker, I'm pleading to the Minister of Finance that since they're topping up the subcommittees by $40,000, top me up there, Carrot Bay, to the 100, and top up Eastern Long Look to the 100. Why, Madam Speaker? I heard the explanation why not. But then whenever you're going to move somewhere, you have to market it how you see fit so the people can understand what you're saying. The most rich history of the emancipation of slavery, if you do your research, is Eastern and down Carrot Bay. The richness of the history, especially of that Long Look area, the Nottingham estate. So, Madam Speaker, each of them have a different flavor. When we have festival, we like to jump on the money. That money in the budget have to fit for Virgin Gorda, Carrot Bay, Eastern Long Look, with Monday Jazz Festival, the Blues Bay Festival, the Jasmine Lakes celebration, all the events in town could go on and on. It's not simple money. The Queen Show, the Prince and Princess Show, the Calypso Show, we could go on. Nearly 20 things that money have to do.
Several other proposals and plans were discussed during this year's budget debate, including avenues that government could explore to earn more revenue. Now that the budget is passed, as was stated by the Finance Minister, the figures may not match many of those plans and proposals, but the House has committed itself to moving the territory forward with what it has and doing the best it can with what it has been given this year.
Even though this money is less than the money we got last time, the people are going to see some action with this money we have here. And Madam Speaker, it is good when you're at large because you see the whole thing. You see the whole thing. Like a father who has 9 children. You have $90, everybody must get $10. And that is the approach that I will be taking, Madam Speaker, when it comes to the monies here. Because too often, Madam Speaker, when you go through the districts, Madam Speaker, you see some of them paved with gold. Paved with gold. And some can get a little asphalt on the road. It is wrong, Madam Speaker. It is wrong. Because when you hold an office, minister of this, minister of that, it's a national portfolio, Madam Speaker. And you cannot use the money that comes there just to entrench yourself in your district. It is wrong. The national portfolio, the money in that portfolio must be used properly so that everybody can be taken care of as far as possible. And that is the mantra that I will operate under. Because even though I heard my honorable colleague speak about the need for a track in Seacows Bay for the children to run on, and I will do all that I can to assist the people in Virgin Gorda, Madam Speaker. The children up there, when they want to run, they have to come down here. They have to catch a boat and come here. Can that be right? Can that be right? We have to look at everything, put all the priorities in order, and make sure that every single person gets a chance to get something there for their area, Madam Speaker. And that is what we will be doing.
This is Walter Barrett, Beyond the Headlines.